Good morning, everyone. It's Trader Rob. Today is Thursday, August 20th. Hope everybody's having a fantastic start to your morning here. Market's in a really nice little sell-off here. That's for damn sure. I think you can mainly see it here. It's better represented here on the ES. We had a developing weekly band that was pretty much all controlled by buyers. We had a nice reaction to the band right here, all the way up to here. But as you can see, look at all this volume that just came into the market. A lot of sell volume down here to get through that, to get finally through that band and through that prior day low on the ES. If we switch over really quickly here to the NQ, well, let's kind of go over our key levels, but let me just kind of show you where the NQ is probably going to have hit a roadblock here at the 29,249 to the 29,206. Now, if we look to the chart way to the left here on the NQ, you're going to notice that we did have just a really quick tap and go from here. So I did keep this this band here for some support. This is all buying volume down here. But to be honest with you guys, this is really the last piece of defense that the buyers really have. After this, if we can break through the 209, 206s, we can either see just a sweep and go back, or they might use this guy as support and really have a nice little move back down to the downside. So from what I see on the NQ, this seems to be like one of their last the last pieces of support here for buyers, at least definitely for today's price action. Now, we do have initial jobless claims coming out this morning at 7:30 a.m. So that's in about 22 minutes. So that'll move. That should move the markets. A lot of people are obviously keeping a really close eye on what the Fed's going to do at their next decision, rate decision, if they're going to either do a hike, stay where they're at, or a decrease. Currently, the overall consensus I think by like about 76% is that the rate is going to stay unchanged, but there is growing calls for a quarter point reduction in rate, which obviously would definitely stir up some markets for damn sure. So Feds are going to be watching very closely the job reports, so that's why those are going to become extremely important. PMI going to become extremely important, especially coming up here in the next Fed decision. So gave you guys already where I see the last piece of support here by buyers. Again, that's the 29,249 to the 29,206. So we'll keep a strong eye on that one. Sellers broke through yesterday's prior day low. Okay, so this is kind of a level that I was looking at here early this morning. They pretty much made chop suey out of this one and broke down from there pretty easily. So some other key levels that we have to look forward to today. We've got the current open at the 29,561. Yesterday's prior day open at the 29,566. Big rejection off of these two levels right here, guys. So extremely important if price action wants to revisit back to there. So again, what I could see happening is either a nice rejection here and either test these prior day lows, either get support. Either get resistance here, or maybe they break through and then they use the prior day low as a support. But more importantly, if we do get a really nice, decent move from this last defense that the NQ has here, we could definitely go and revisit these prior day opens and current day opens, because of the fact that this is where all the unbalanced volume currently sits in the market. Okay, big unbalanced volume here. After the pre-market show, I'm going to go in and start mapping out my developing unbalanced volume areas here, because we've definitely got a few pieces here that are going to be worth taking a look at for some trading opportunities. If you guys mapped out the setups I gave you guys yesterday, bunch of them worked out almost to the T. We had a lot of the Signal members in the group were green. I was green yesterday. Just a really nice day of trading. Prior day high, 29,757. Seems like a pretty far number away from where we're currently at. But again, a lot of liquidity up here, a lot of volume sitting up here. So definitely pay attention to the prior day high if we come back and revisit it. Now we can start talking about more selling pressure over here. 29,896 to the 29,858. Okay, this is going to be a trade setup for me this morning if price action can come back up here. Again, pretty simple theory here. A limit order at the bottom of your band at the 29,858. Stop loss is going to be sitting just a few points above the band, and risk to reward is going to be 1 to 1.5 on these bands. Now you can always go 1 to 2, but I like to do my 1 to 2s off the smaller, more detailed bands that I currently find. Don't have one in this one, so would have to play the entire band in this scenario. So, and again, this would look something like this if you were to put in your order. You'd have a limit order at the 29,857, your take profit at the 29,794, and your stop loss sitting up here at the 29,899. These, in my opinion, are the strongest selling unbalanced volume areas that we currently have in the market. Okay, obviously, besides this big push that just came in recently, I will take a look and see what we can find there. Sitting above that, let's get this guy out of there. Above there, we've got another band up here from the 30,249 to the 30,207. We still have a golden level sitting up here at the 30,234. You could play this trade any which way you want. Okay, I'll show you both options. First option would be playing the entire band. Okay, so limit order at the 30,207. Stop loss sitting a few points above this band, and risk to reward 1 to 1.5, which would sit right around there. So that's what option 1 would look like here on this band. Again, these two bands that are seller controlled, super strong. Super strong. In fact, the best bands that I currently have in the market. Second option would be just to trade the golden level. Okay, golden level is very simple trade. It's literally a limit order right at the golden level at the 30,234, and your take profit's going to be 15 points, so 60 ticks. And your stop loss is going to be, if I get there we go. And your stop loss is also going to be 60 ticks, so 15 points. These are going to be 1 to 1 risk to reward on the golden levels. Okay, very, very easy trade setup on here for you. Very, very prop friendly. Really nice type of setup here. In fact, all of my trades are prop friendly. They're all going to be, well, the golden bands are 1 to 1, but every single setup that I give you every morning, they're going to be either 1 to 1.5 or 1 to 2 risk to reward. So again, very prop friendly. If you're going to be taking the bigger bands, just make sure you do correct position sizing. Okay, so if you're on a 50K account and you're trading, let's just say 2 or 3 micros, the risk on that trade is going to come up to about maybe $250. On 1 micro, your risk is going to be $90 to make $134. 2 micros, you're at $180 of risk, and close to $270 of take profit. So I can't do your position size for you. That's going to be something that you're going to have to do with your risk tolerance on your trades. But those are definitely the key setups for this morning on the NQ. Again, just straight limit orders, guys. Nothing that there's nothing complicated about these setups. Just got to have trust in them. Obviously, some time periods, when would I not be taking these bands? Okay, that's, I think, a good question that you guys can be asking. I would not be taking these bands right as a news release. So if, for instance, I don't think it's going to be the case here this morning, but we got price action like right here, and you've got initial jobless claims, or you've got non-farm payrolls coming out, PMI. That would be a setup where you definitely want to avoid. And we've gone over this many times, but I think repetition is the key to success in discipline and trading. When you have high impact news that's definitely scheduled and unscheduled, but we're talking about the scheduled high impact news, the stuff that you can kind of control. What happens right at the news release is that volume is actually sucked out of the market. That is there's a vacuum in the market. The money makers, or market makers, I should say. Well, I guess they're money makers as well, but the market makers will step out of the market, and that's why you get these huge price swings on the NQ and the ES, really in all of the markets. And if we've got price action that's kind of hovering pretty close to our entry price, that would be a place where you want to avoid. Okay. Second scenario where I would avoid these bands, and this goes for all of the bands that and all of the setups that I give you. Right at the market open, guys. I mean, at the market open, there's just a huge influx of volume that's coming in there, and there's so much volume from such big players that they're attracted, obviously, to these bands. Okay, that's why we see these bands get gapped into on the Sunday open. They get gapped into at the 5 p.m. open every single day, and they're magnets. They're magnets to the market here. One reason why the market open is a little bit dangerous: one, obviously the volatility, but two, the amount of big players that move in the market can very easily overwhelm the volume that's sitting in these bands. Okay, so these bands will start to not act as strongly right at the market open. Now, if we've got the market opening right here, you know, we're not necessarily anticipating a 200-point move to the upside. It could very happen, but by the time the market makes that 200-point move to the upside, what has it done? It's already distributed volume on the way up. So it's not as powerful as if the market was to open right here and then you get that big wick or that continuation wick to the upside, which usually gets reversed in the first 5 to 10 minutes of the market. So that's the NQ. Let's see if yeah, it's coming after this. It's definitely coming after this area. There's actually a pivot right here. I'm gonna assume that that's gonna be a previous weekly pivot that we had right here. It was in that previous tap that we had into this band. In fact, let me see if I could drop down to the 15-minute. Not sure how far back this chart is. It's only 15 days. Let's see when the last time was that we tapped into this band. It was right here. Yeah, I remember having a trade right there as well. Just a trade setup right there. So that's your pivot right here as well. So that was on the 6th of August. Was sitting right there. So we are going to have a pivot here. You know, what do we see when we have the pivot? Well, obviously, as that's the last pivot in the market that we are first currently tapping into, there should be some stops sitting there, some buy side stops. This is going to be again the first pivot that we have seen in a matter of 14 days. So this is a 2-week-old weekly low sitting down here. So keep that in mind. 1 week sweep and go, and we tap into this volume that it's left right here. Or we could get a spike and then we can see a nice move to the downside. If that happens, guys, I could see the market getting support right there, resistance from right there, and us having another big leg back down to the downside there on the NQ. Now let's switch our focus back to the ES. Why does ES look so interesting to me today by sellers? Very simple. We had a pretty strong weekly band here on the ES that was sitting at the 77.17 to the 76.98. We also had some key levels. We had the prior day open, we had the prior day low sitting at the top and the bottom of this band. Now, This band previously acted as decent support for the ES. Okay, as you guys can see, good support from the ES. We went all the way back up and tapped into the current open. Okay, this is all that the market does. It loves to find these liquidity areas. That's why I say when you've got a key level, had a nice trade yesterday, same scenario. Take the TP before you hit the resistance at the key level. Okay, so if your strategy is calling for a TP sitting up here, guys, might as well don't be so greedy. As long as you still have a good risk to reward, 1-to-1 definitely, or 1 to 1.5. Take it at the key level. Take it actually at a few points below the key level. Secure your profits and be happy with what you got. But why I feel so interesting, why this is so interesting to me, is look at the volume that came in here from sellers. Okay, look at the volume. This is just a shit ton of volume here on the ES that came in, and it needed it. It needed it to get through this volume. This is why I shade these in purple every single morning for you. You know, these are going to be the areas. This is typically why you don't see all of these bubbles in areas that are not shaded out. It's because when they come back into these, there is a good amount of unbalanced volume that it needs to churn through. And there you go. We had a lot of aggressive volume coming in, fresh volume coming into the market. So this could definitely be a pretty good precursor for the market here this morning. It could definitely, obviously my bias currently is short. Now what I would be looking at is I would be looking to see if the market uses this prior day low as a form of resistance here, and we can see another move down to the downside. Okay, so we already know what the NQ kind of looks like. We kind of know already what the ES down here looks like. So what other ideas can we have here on the ES? Well, we got the prior day high sitting up here at the 77.64. Again, good amount of volume. Will we get up to there? I don't know. I don't necessarily know how strong these bulls can step back into the market. But in 6 minutes, again, we're going to have initial jobless claims come out. So we'll see what that kind of stirs in the market. Our first level up here, that a good trading opportunity would obviously be the golden level at the 77.97. On the ES golden levels, they're very simple to trade. Again, limit order right at the 77.97. Let's take the ES trade. There we go. Now on these, it's going to be 5 points of take profit, 5 points of stop. Okay, so 20 ticks here on the ES of stop, 20 ticks for your take profit. Golden levels are always going to be 1-to-1, guys. And those are always going to be your most simplest trades that you will have every single day, at least when the market presents itself with. We are currently in a balanced market, so not many new things came up from yesterday. But yesterday was actually a great trading day. I mean, there was some pretty good, it was a very rangy market, but still at least some decent price action, at least from what I saw. The afternoon session, not so great. And again, your limit order again would be at the 77.97. Your take profit would be at the 77.92. And your stop loss would be sitting at the 78.02. Now, if the market get through this golden level, and I'm not saying if you only want to target 5 points, guys, these can land you 10 points, 12 points. But for the golden level, as I'm not, this is not necessarily a signal from my signal group. This is a golden level that I find personally in the market. And I just have a strict 1-to-1 risk to reward on these. But if the market can get through here, let me just cancel these really quickly so we can actually see the chart a little better. If the market can get through this golden level, we've got a strong band here from sellers on the ES that's sitting at the 78.04. And I know this is a little hard to see, but that's what I could do is, let's see if it's at the 78.24. I can tell you I could see it, but I know I got two labels there on the same thing. So 78.24 to the 78.04. That's going to be, again, all selling volume, a lot of buyers coming in. I'm sorry, a lot of sellers coming in right there, a lot of unbalanced volume sitting in that market right now. So we'll switch back to the NQ here. Let's go back to the 5-minute chart. And again, we've got high impact news coming out here in about 3 minutes. So give me 1 second and then we'll see what the market wants to do here. All right, Beast Slayer, good morning. Bali, good morning. Higher Day, good morning. Trader 007, morning. Miss K911, J Loves, good morning. Bob, Steve, William, good morning to all. All right, so let's got a minute here to news. A little over a minute and 4 seconds here. So again, what we're going to be watching here is definitely going to be this band sitting right here on the NQ. Let's see if the sellers can blow through here, use this here as resistance. Like I said, there could be another big leg to the downside. More than likely, it's going to want to come in and balance out a big part of that move 2 weeks ago, I believe on a Tuesday. So give me here 1 second. So initial jobless claims came in a little better than expected. So not necessarily a great indicator there. To be honest with you, I know that it's kind of counterproductive here, not counterproductive, but counter economic thought process. But you know, the better the job numbers come out, the least likely that there will be or I should say that the market might start factoring in a possible rate decrease of a quarter point. The fact that we had better job numbers, initial jobless claims, obviously is going to support either a rate where we stay where we're at, or obviously a possible rate increase if we start seeing numbers, numbers like that. Obviously, I think inflation right now is starting to kind of taper off. So I would, again, 74 or 75% of the market is betting that the rate stays exactly where it's at. But not a huge movement here on the NQ, so we'll see here what it wants to do once it taps into this strong buying band that's sitting right down here. And I say strong, but typically I like to use very virgin bands. Okay, so this one, as I already showed you guys 2 weeks ago, literally just tapped and went. Okay, so this was a really nice band for us to trade the first time around. Now the second time around, you've got a little bit more added liquidity that's sitting there from the previous pivot on your chart from 2 weeks ago. So we'll see once it taps into that if again, if that buying volume comes right back into the market, or if they sweep these lows and can possibly continue here and back down to the downside. And the biggest key levels I would say right now in the market is going to be these prior day open, current day open that are sitting about 5 points from each other at the 29,560s. That seems to be where the big origination of the move here this morning to the downside was. So if buyers can take any control back into this market, they're going to want to definitely come and balance out that move to the upside. Basic auction theory there. All right, guys, that's everything that I've got for you guys here today. Those are the setups here on the NQ and the ES. If you don't mind, please hit like on the stream before you jump off. And always appreciate the support. Remember, we've got Cash Profit Friday tomorrow. 25% of my session profits will be given away to a viewer. So stick around or tune in for that tomorrow morning from 7 a.m. It'll be a full live trading session with you guys the entire morning. And stay patient. Not necessarily the big price movement that I was thinking that we might get from initial jobless claims. Obviously, we already had a pretty nice move there from the sellers. So we'll see where they continue to want to gravitate here towards, and just make sure you've got these levels marked up on your charts. With that, have a great trading day, and I will see you guys tomorrow.